is Rachel Friedman, and I learned to row and cox with Capital Rowing Club here in Washington, D.C. back in 2001. Before launching, it's really important for coxswains to be aware of the weather, changing conditions, and what's happening with the water. So watch for wind, watch for lightning, and watch for chop. You also really need to be aware of hazards, and that could be floating debris, it could be sandbars, and it could be other crews out on the water. Let's say you're either a brand new coxswain or new to a specific body of water. How do you learn the traffic pattern and the hazards that are there? You're definitely going to talk to your coaches. You'll want to talk to other coxswains and pay attention to any sort of course map that your coaches provide. I think it's a really great idea also to check out Google Maps and zoom in on your body of water and see what's around. See if there are turns or bridges or any sort of hazards that might be out there, like piers. There are a few key things that every coxswain should bring in the boat with them, and I start with a dry bag. I like this one because it's little, it's a low profile, and I wear it around my waist and it's comfortable in the boat. I bring my cell phone in case of emergency. Then obviously we need our cox box, so I'll grab that. And then for safety, we have a lanyard with everything that you might want on it for essentials. So we have wrenches, we have a glow stick, and everybody's favorites, we have washers, wing nuts, some spacers. Everybody needs those during practice. And it's really important also to have a whistle, and you're gonna want this in case of emergency if you're within hailing distance of another boat. Also, you're gonna want a PFD, a personal flotation device. It is recommended by USRowing, and my club adheres to these standards, is we use a horse collar PFD. Put it on, click it on. You want to make sure everything's tight and it's comfortable. If you need to, in emergency, you can pull this red tab.
I usually would be in charge of the logbook. Each time we go out on the water, I would sign us out, and then as we come back in, I'd also sign in just to make sure that we get in safely. Just making sure that you have proper clothing, I would say, is most important because it stinks when you are cold and coxing. So making sure you're wearing proper layers, sometimes a survival suit, as we said.
Early on when Sophie was starting to cox, it was a little bit of like me coxing from the launch and allowing her to just kind of pick it up. One of the things that I really like to stress is language, language, language. If everybody knows what words mean and what we're trying to say, it goes a whole lot smoother. So we started with the basics. You know, your check down, your row side, how to call out numbers, way enough. I kind of differentiate way enough and let it run, so they kind of know what those two mean. Like way enough means let's stop the boat, it has to stop right now. Let it run can be, all right, we're finished with the length, and you can kind of let it cool off.
So there are a handful of pretty important commands for coxswains to know when it comes to keeping your crew safe. One of them is the simple heads up. And that is something that I would use if we're approaching another crew, but there's really no danger. We just want them to know that we're coming. Hey coxswain, heads up, I'm on your starboard. If you need to ask your crew to stop whatever you're doing, such as rowing or a drill, you're gonna ask them to weigh enough. If you need them to stop the boat, you can ask them to check it down, and that's turning the blades so they're at about a 45-degree angle and dragging on the water. That slows down or stops the boat from moving forward or backward. And if you have only one side of the boat check their blades, that results in a turn to that side. When you turn and cross, it's common to turn your boat 90 degrees perpendicular to the river, take it directly straight across, and get as far as your coach has asked you to, weigh enough, and make another 90-degree perpendicular turn so you're heading in the right direction. If you need the boat to absolutely stop moving, you're going to ask your crew to hold water. You can also ask them to hold water if the boat's already stopped and you just want to keep the boat from drifting. Holding water means squaring the blades and placing them in the water while the boat is stopped. So we've talked about all the ways to be safe on the water, but why? We have expensive boats and human beings in our boats. And those human beings are people that we care about, they're our friends, and we need to make sure that they come back at the end of practice safe and sound so we can go back out with them again tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that.